Try It Tuesday number 11 and ICAD number 5 by Creator Katie. Beach. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, then you won't miss any upcoming videos.
Hello. Try It Tuesday number 11. And this one looks pretty exciting. And I am going to do this on my ICAD. In my teacher version of the ICAD, it's actually an old flashcard, but I'm going to kind of double up using these prompts and do it on one of my ICADs to count as one of my days. So double dipping a little bit. So this one says to use watercolor paints. Now I have watercolor paints, and I contemplated getting out watercolor paper and gluing that onto here, which you can totally do. But I'm not going to do that because you can, as I said when I pulled the prompt, any water soluble kind of function. So you can use distress inks, you can use your Neocolor 2s, Inktense blocks, watercolor crayons, pastels. You can use some gelatos if you like. Any of that will work. You can even use sprays if you so desire. So it says they use modeling or texture paste. So I am going to get out my light modeling paste here. Remember, you can use wall compound, works just as well. So I'm going to get that out. Homemade stamps. So I dug out my drawer, and you can see the video of my organization of some of my stamps. So this is all my homemade stamps that I've made, and you can get more information on that. So I've pulled a couple that I think I might use. This one, which is made with shelf liner. This one, kind of the sun kind of thing, is off of a bouncy rubber ball, and this is a swirl one that I made with some fun foam. So I'm thinking that those might be the ones. This one I might use as well, which is another one off of a rubber bouncing ball that I bought at the dollar store. Holiday theme, so it is June here, and in less than 30 days, it's going to be the end of school, so holidays, so thoughts are going to holidays, so that's good. Saran wrap or plastic wrap technique, and I will put a link. There you can click the eye up in this corner. I can never do that. Some people do it so well. Up in there'll be a little eye there. You can click on that and watch how I do the saran wrap technique with a variety of different things, or you can watch on here. And then use clip art or pictures from online. So using the holiday theme, I went online and I got both my quote and my picture. So I'm going to pull these off and give you a brief explanation of what I think I'm going to do, and then we'll see how that actually works. So I downloaded a picture of a palm tree, and I printed it onto deli paper using my laser printer. So there is a tutorial or a YouTube video in my thing that I will either put the link to, or there will be a little eye you can click on. So I'm going to have that. I found the quote B.E.A.C.H, which stands for Best Escape Anyone Can Have. So that's where I'm going. So on here, my plan is to basically make kind of a beach scene. So I'm going to put some color behind with the saran wrap technique, and I think I'm going to go for the kind of a night sky, early evening, kind of the reds and yellows and golds in the sky, and then have the water, the ocean, and then beach down here. My plan is on the middle section to use the modeling paste for the beach part, and to use this stamp to get some texture for the beach and the sand. I'm not sure how this is going to work, but I'm thinking this might be the rays of the sun at the top. So again, kind of have a plan, not sure where that's going. So all I did to find the picture, I just Googled free clip art, and I just put summer or holiday, and I got a palm tree. So
I'm getting out my Inktense blocks and looking at my list of colors. I'm going to pick colors all along that far left side, the yellows and oranges and reds. And I've divided my card, there's a very faint line there, into thirds. So I'm going to have the sky, the ocean, and then the sand at the bottom. I'm going to put the waves, the texture paste, in the middle. Little unsure what I should do first, but I decide to put the Inktense blocks and make the sunset sky. And I'm just mixing them up and activating them with water, rubbing them with my finger. And I want a nice pool here because I am going to be using the saran wrap or plastic wrap technique. And I'm just adding color till I'm happy. So there's the plastic wrap. No need to buy brand name stuff. This is just dollar store. And I'm squishing it all in there. And I'm now going to let it dry. Now, I'm not as patient as some, and I do not let this dry overnight. So I'm letting it dry for a good while as I'm cutting out other things. And then I'm coming back and applying the texture paste through this swirl stencil. So this is going to be the water. So I'm masking off the parts that I like. And I decide not to do the bottom because I don't mind if the waves kind of go over the sand a little bit. And I figure this might just give me some randomness. I'm just putting a light layer on there. So now I have the texture paste that needs to dry and the saran wrap technique that needs to dry. And I can't put the heat on there because I'll melt the saran wrap. So I'm going to cut out the palm tree that is printed on deli paper and my quote that I found doing a search on, you guessed it, on Pinterest. Beach, best escape anyone can have. Love that. So I'm just using another card here to kind of set up how I might want to put the phrase on here. So while it's drying, I'm just trying to, of course, play around and see how I'm going to want to do that. I end up cutting out all the letters separately for the word beach, right around, removing as much of the deli paper as possible. So this isn't quite dry, so as I pull it off, I get the heat right on it, so I lock any of the runny parts in right away. You can see the lovely texture that the plastic wrap gives, and you get the modeled pictures. So now I'm going to go and I'm going to pick some browns for the sand. And according to my plan, I was going to use my homemade stamp using the shelf liner. So I'm really liking the color of the sand here. Yeah, it's not going to stay. So I'm stamping into it, and I'm not liking what I see, so I go and I get a darker color right away. Big mess coming up right away, and here we go. Yeah, not liking that at all. I try to save it. I'm making a bigger mess. I dry it, and I'm thinking, oh, I'm not happy about that. Okay, let's just ignore it. Let's move forward. So I get out the blue Inktense, but oh, not yet. I'm going to try adding more yellow and lightening up. Don't like that either. There's the palm tree. Kind of lining it up. I'm going to put it over here now. So I'm getting out my Inktense blocks and I'm putting several colors of blue, teal onto that, activating it with water and just rubbing it in. And then I think, why not? Why can't I do plastic wrap here as well? So I'm pushing the plastic wrap in there, and it does add some more interest. So we have the texture paste and and the plastic wrap technique, all adding some texture. Now I decide I don't like this brown, so I'm just rubbing it off. If that didn't work, I was going to go at it with a layer of gesso. And I'm just stamping, figure, oh, this is what I can do. I'm just going to stamp a couple of colors on there to get nice light sand. And I'm way happier. So now I'm just kind of figuring out what I want to do. How am I going to use this stamp? Or am I? Technically, I've used my homemade stamp. I don't need to use another one. But before I decide what to do with that, I have to make sure I know where the quote's going. So I'm cutting it out. And I had letters missing. I had cut out all those letters for the word beach before, and I lost them. So I'm putting this on. I'm putting some red and yellow, and I'm trying it. Kind of liking how that stamp looks. So, okay, now I'm going to try it on here. Decide to use a darker red and a little bit of burgundy just so it shows up. I'm masking off where the water is because I don't want to go over there. On the stamp, I've sprayed it with water. Now I'm putting a little bit of the burgundy and I'm stamping this. This is like the sun setting. And I'm quite happy with it, although it didn't quite go down all the way. So I'm just getting some of that paint off the stamp, or ink from the Inktense blocks off the stamp, and painting it down, so that I get the look that I want. Okay, so here we go, using my matte gel. Now the joy about using the Inktense blocks is once they are heat set and they're allowed to dry, they are far more permanent than watercolors, most of the sprays, gelatos. It will not typically reactivate, and if it does, not to the degree that the others do. So that was one of the reasons that I chose to use it in mixed media instead of digging out my high quality watercolors. But you can do the plastic wrap technique with watercolors. That's where I first learned how to do it. I'm kind of liking my my card right now, adding a little bit of color, just kind of blending in the horizon there. Thinking I need a little bit of shimmer because at nighttime when the sun's setting, it just shimmers and picks up on the waves. So I'm just using the blending tool and I'm putting some silver on the high parts that are made by the texture paste. Not quite getting the effect I like. Trying it with the pads of my fingers, liking it a little bit more. And somewhere right about now, I think I remember that I have some stickles. And you will see me pulling out the stickles and applying it at some point in time. So I'm deciding where I want to put my letters, and here I've decided I've lost the H. So I go searching for it. And moving the letters. Okay, that needs to go over. And again, this is a font that I downloaded from dafont.com. I will be doing a blog post about the fonts that I'm using, that I find I like, that work well for the purposes of art journal pages and ICADs and the like. I'm really liking the latest downloads. Whoop. Don't worry, I did notice that the H moved. I'm going to put it back. There we go. I use my black paint and my stylus to give the dots the abbreviations for the acronym B.E.A.C.H. Best escape anyone can have. And since there's only a little time left, this must be where I decide to get out my stickles. once the stickles dried, they're very sparkly. They did add a wonderful dimension and effect to this page, or to this card. I'm really happy with how this Try It Tuesday number 11, ICAD number 5 turned out. It is quite lovely. And effective. I might end up doing this on a canvas. There you can see this. Doesn't that remind you of a beach at sunset? Thank you so much for joining me on this index card a day Try It Tuesday journey. I feel much better. I've been able to do a lot of art this last weekend. See you for